is thus like Disneyland, giving the illusion of a real world, an exterior world, despite the fact that each world is the exact image of the other. The entire United States is Disneyland, and we are all in the loft. There is no need to enter the virtual double of reality. We're already there. The television universe is only a holographic detail of global reality. Down to our most daily existence, we are already in a situation of experimental reality, and that is where the fascination comes from immersion and spontaneous interaction. Is it pornographic voyeurism? No. Sex is everywhere, but it is not what people want. What they deeply want is the spectacle of banality, which is the true pornography, the real obscenity, nullity, insignificance, and platitude, the extreme opposite of the theater of cruelty. But it may be a form of cruelty, at least virtually. At a time when television and the world's media are increasingly unable to give an account of the world's unbearable events, they have discovered daily life and existential banality as the most deadly event, the most violent news, the very scene of the perfect crime. And indeed it is. People are fascinated and terrified by the indifference of the nothing to say, nothing to do, by the indifference of their very existence. Watching the perfect crime or banality as the new face of faith has become a veritable Olympic sport, or the latest form of extreme sport. All of this is reinforced by the fact that the public is called on to judge. The public has become Big Brother. We are beyond the panopticon, beyond visibility as a source of power and control. The question is no longer to make things visible to an outside eye, but to make them transparent to themselves by infusing the masses with control while erasing all traces of the operation. The audience is therefore involved in this vast negative countertransference with itself. And once again, this is the source of the dizzying attraction of this type of spectacle.
Anything you read about any of these guys, you have to understand their basic views of the world, how they look at everything. It's not what you are reading. This is what I understand. I don't care what people tell me. You're not reading what you're reading, but you think what you're reading. That is exactly what he's talking about here. Basically, whatever he was talking about, the reality shows, TV shows back in his time, that's not important. What is important is the essential view and the essential foundation of our time, which is really simulation. And it's actually worse than Disneyland. At a simple level of simulation, at least you know it's unreal. And you go to Disneyland, you have a good time, but you know it's a Disneyland. It's unreal. Although you can say, but I like it, I enjoy it. So that's the difference. You're very legitimate. Even you're 70 years old, you're going to enjoy the Disneyland children's ride or whatever the games. That there's no issue with that. It's entertainment, amusement. But what he's talking about is that what do we consider as the solid, the concrete, the reality that is become a Disneyland. But the difference is that we don't know it's a Disneyland because we think we live in the real world. Not only we live in the real world, but also we have the power to choose. So we have freedom to choose what we like. It's all about the personal choice. And that's something Max Weber is famous for. And he thinks that in the capitalist system, what we have is the ability to choose for each individual. Was at one point, that was all real. So essentially, our world is a simulated world. Actually, now it's a lot of worse than Baudrillard's time. Because in Baudrillard's time, there were plenty ways of things. And there is a distinction. A lot of people could tell this is the real world, this is the new virtual world. And today, we already have bought into the virtual world. We can't tell the difference. In fact, we don't even want to tell the difference. And we think the virtual world is more real and more interesting than so-called the real world because we don't have a real world. The definition of the borderline between the real world and the virtual world is completely erased by the very idea of virtual reality. So if you want to say what would be the worst about virtual reality, that would be the AI. The AI is an idea. It's not that the AI can help you to do things. Rather, AI is taking over in a way you want AI to take over. It's not AI takes control the human society to do like the Big Brother, in 1984. That's not the idea. Actually, that was good because you still are able to tell the difference. It's the Big Brother is controlling everybody, which is bad. Well, no, that's bad. It's sad that today we still hold on at a book as if that's some sort of critical and insightful observation of life. That's too old. That's almost like you're reading James Joyce. It's a classic. So what we have now is you set up a Big Brother for yourself. No one forces you. You consciously pick that. And the funny part is that now that you pick that, we all pick the same thing, you see. But in our own understanding, we think we are so unique, we're doing our own thing. Except that you don't know. Everybody thinks everybody's doing one's own thing, then you back out this whole picture, you look at everybody is doing exactly the same thing. That's the problem. For instance, watch the news now. I mean, the problem here is this. Used to be, we say reality show, drama, and documentary, soap opera. We clearly can define which is what. And the news, of course. Now, can you tell the difference? Everything's on the screen. I mean, the idea is on the screen. It doesn't matter, cell phone, iPad, or TV. A screen can be huge or can be small. Doesn't make any difference. And what it does is that the screen gives you power. The power is that you are the very king or queen of that virtual world. Because you make your decision which to watch, which not to watch. You make your decision which to follow, which not to follow. So in doing so, you think you're making your own choice and decision. But in reality, you're not. Everybody thinks everybody is making the same decision, unique situation. But then if you back out this, you look at it from above, everybody's doing the same thing. There's no difference because the source, or rather we say matrix, it's the matrix provides everything. The behind, the writer who writes the matrix, and the matrix dispenses its episodes or stories to everybody in different places. You are already pre-programmed, and you received whatever you received. You think that's very unique. But the truth is that the uniqueness is just a small piece of the whole fabric. For a human being today, you don't have the mind power or the manpower to encompass the entire fabric because too much information, the majority of the information is doubled and falsified. You don't have that kind of power to do that. So you sincerely believe what you see that small part is the truth. But the problem is there is no truth because everything is simulated, so where's the truth? And this is on the lower level, but the upper level, the entire view is there's no such thing called the truth philosophical in our world. The Buddhist people have been thinking this for more than 2,000 years. And now, even we rather to believe there's still truth, there's a reality, but we're not there anymore. That reality being doubled and assimilated, now we're in this double of that reality. And everything we do is in the virtual play. So it's a huge computer game everybody ties into. Our life is going somewhere. It's not bad or good. It's just people lack of awareness, people lack of ability to penetrate. And when you plug into this information, you're going to believe. Baudrillard, he was way ahead of everybody. Everybody thought he was a weirdo.